Chris Level here with another edition of Pirate Talk. Colton Coons taking care of us as always. My man Chip Darden still rolling. Rolling them dice.
Colton, if you want to, you need to hit record a little earlier next week so the people can really see how Chris treats you.
Gene Messer, Ford, Lincoln. We certainly appreciate those folks for taking care of us all season, and we're going to keep these things going, man. As long as this guy does his part.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Okay. In all seriousness. Not everybody gets to play this time of year. Even less get to play this coming week. Long trip to El Paso, but worth it.
Well, yeah, that's what we tell our kids. 32 teams in our division still playing football, so it's out of 120. So that's a pretty big deal. The trip, I thought our kids handled the road trip really well. We didn't start crazy fast, but I also don't think it was the travel or anything like that. But we kind of – I probably didn't do a great job of, I try to do stuff to the minute as far as when we get to certain places and, you get delayed 5 minutes here and then there's a traffic. And so we were a little rushed when we got there, but man, our kids handled all that really well. And so it was good. It was fun. I think our kids are just having a lot of fun right now and that can be overlooked at times. You get so stressed with winning and playing well and all that you quit having fun. I think our kids have started having fun again. And I know it's the chicken or the egg. It's more fun to win, but I think they kind of start having more fun, and it has resulted in wins.
You scripted this out to the minute on your itinerary?
Oh, always.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, interesting. So you showed up to the stadium how many minutes late compared to what you had originally scripted?
We were about 15 to 20 minutes late.
Okay.
So we've done something different this year where we do, right when we get there, we get dressed out and we do, we call it kick the field, but it's, some people call it play the game, but we're going to do a kick return into offense, into punt, defense, punt return, kick, we're just doing all the transitions. We do that there. So I think it's helped us mentally. We get there and you don't sit for an hour, especially if you're the last group to go out and warm up, if you're an O-lineman. We get out there and we kind of get something that locks us in pretty quick. So we've liked it, but it also stresses us a little bit. You can't be, if you're 15 minutes late, that cuts into that. So but we handled it well.
Did anybody notice that you were a bit late? Or other than
I don't know.
Were you kind of like, hey, man, we need to get going?
Yeah, the coaches did. And as we're traveling, I'm sending out a revised schedule and all that. And handled all that well, but I don't know if the kids did.
Okay, that's interesting. Because the thing about planning it to the minute, when it does get altered, it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like you, I'm a planner, and I love the plan, but when the plan gets altered, it's like I just fall apart.
Well, and don't get me wrong, we got charters for that long trip, so we had drivers, and it was great. They were great. They don't have the sense of urgency like we do. Like, okay, we're leaving at 3:50, like 3:50 is the time. It's not 3:54. It's 3:50. We're rolling. So it was all good. I should have planned for that.
I appreciate that about that. I did not know that that's how you're rolling there. So I love a good itinerary. There is no doubt. You mentioned slows and being road weary or jet lag and all those kinds of, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
But this was also a team with a phenomenal quarterback, and they've been really good all year. And so just took you a bit to settle in. And what's interesting is you kind of, it wasn't meaningless, but you kick a little old 29-yard field goal there early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out that was
pretty important.
That was the difference. That was the difference. You probably didn't know that at the time.
I know. I found this out after the game. My son Kason was there, and he was mad at me for kicking a field goal, apparently, during the game. Said, told Mom, like, we're down by 7. Why are we kicking a field goal? We need a touchdown. He's right. But
Math.
The math, yep. Yeah. But then after the game, he said, okay, I'm glad we kicked the field goal. But, no, we got confidence. We hadn't kicked as many field goals this year, but we got confidence in Michael Rodriguez and Case Robertson to kick those. We've just been a little more aggressive. But it was the right time. It was a long yardage, and I thought it was important that we got some momentum from that drive because they went on a long drive, like a almost 6-minute drive on the first one. Thought it wouldn't be good if we left there without points, and So gave us some momentum and got us into the game. Then ended up being pretty key down the stretch.
Yeah, and when you're sitting there trying to determine fourth down, what do we do? We're in no man's land. And your kicking situations, you're trying to get it figured out, and he's certainly had some success. Case and Michael and
Javi.
Yeah, Javi, who's been more of a kickoff guy, kind of, yeah. But then, or do I put it in the hands of my senior quarterback, the senior receiver who just set a record, or my senior running back, or this senior offensive line?
Yeah,
that's the.
It is.
Who do I? What do I trust? What do I want to do? I don't have to deal with the elements and all that, so that it's easy to see that. Take me through the offensive performance, though, because you punted one time. They really never stopped you. It was just kind of, you just scored every time.
Yeah.
Had the ball pretty much.
Yeah.
Football's easy when you do that, by the way.
What I was real proud of, we thought we could really control the line of scrimmage and kind of what we call get big, where we're going to get 2 tight ends and 2 backs, and we thought we could really establish that. And we did early in the first drive, and then they went to a different front. We'd seen them run it, but didn't think we'd see a lot of it. And they got after us a little bit. And so there's a little concern there as a coach, even though you plan for it, and we've always got a plan for playing any style of football game that we need to. We had to throw it maybe more early than we anticipated. We executed it great, and it didn't phase us at all. As offensive coaches, we kind of just change in our mind a little bit of maybe how you sequence the plays and kind of, man, we're going to run, and the play action's going to open up. Well, it's kind of the other way around. We kind of threw it a little bit, and then eventually wore them down and opened up the run. So I thought I was really proud of our offense for that. Our offensive line kept battling. I think you'll see in one of the clips that we're going to show, we had to grind out 2 and 3 yard type plays, and then I think you saw in the fourth quarter, you keep grinding those out, then all of a sudden you wear them down. And so we saw a little bit of that, and we were able to really get the clinching touchdown through just kind of grinding it out. Another thing with the offense that I'm really proud of, that's hard to do, but that's we've won 3 straight games that were realistic, pretty much playoff games, and we ended with the ball all those games. We got the ball back 2.5 minutes the other night, ran the clock out. Valle, it was like 4.5 minutes, and Memorial was 3 or so. So that's just pretty cool to do. A lot of times that's hard to do. And when they know exactly what you're about to do, and our offensive line and tight ends were able to go, we're running it, but we're still going to run it successfully, and then we're going to take a knee.
Yeah, and you mentioned those early shots in a game that pay off in the latter part. It's just the equivalent of a body blow.
Yeah, that's right.
The body blows, the repeated body blows, allows for the knockout later.
It's hard to take on those blocks over and over and over.
It's the not fun part of football. It's like, okay, all right, we got through it, but then it's just like after a while it's annoying.
And then Shemaine and Jathan Caraway, those guys, they run so hard too that it's not an easy tackle. So it's our brand. We like to do it. We got great quarterback, great receivers that we like to throw it to, but our main brand is doing that, playing that kind of football.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss. Ryan Rodriguez set a record, career record, I think a week or so ago, and then this was Cade Gant's turn. Take me through the record that he sets, and I guess I'm just fascinated how he's been defended all year, because it just seems like from watching pretty much every one of these games that it's like, why is not you would think that it's just like, if I've put 3 people on the guy, and then make someone else beat him, but he continues to find ways to get open or break a tackle and all those things. But he's just been very consistent, which is also one of the hardest things in sports.
It's very hard to do. He broke the single season receiving yards record, and he broke the career receiving yards record, which both were broken last year by Michael Deaver. That's pretty cool. And Cade's one of the quietest kids on the team. Now, maybe outside of practice and stuff, he might be a little more loud than he shows in front of us, but he comes out there and just works hard every day, always has a good attitude. I can't ever remember him having a bad attitude about anything. So it's really nice to see that reward for him, being a team captain and just a leader on this team. It's pretty awesome. So he's got more in front of him, and he makes it. That connection we've talked about it. Him and Ryan's connection has been really good. And you mentioned like doubling him or whatever. I think Noah Clark, but then also just our receivers in general. Reed Waters, and those guys they're doing such a good job with our backs out of the backfield that, man, if you do that, you're leaving somebody else on an island and guys that we think can hurt people. Noah Clark had, I think, 5 catches, and I know at least 4 of them were either third or fourth down, just in the big moments. And
money downs.
I think that matters, and so I think that's helping. I think some of those other guys are helping open Cade up too.
Yeah, and you obviously don't. If you're a receiver, you don't set any kind of record unless you have a really good quarterback.
That's right.
That's just how that goes. Were you surprised? I was, and I thought he would live to regret it, and maybe he does it now, and he's like, no, this is how we'll do over again. Were you surprised late in the third quarter? It's like 4th and 3, 4th and 4. They're on their own 45-ish yard line, and he punted.
Yeah, a key play there was the quarterback's helmet got knocked off, and
he couldn't. Okay,
I think they would have had to take a timeout because
that's part of it. I was like, here's the game. This is how. Like, I'm watching this play out. I'm like, whoever blinks, and it's like you caused them to blink first, but that may have been the technicality.
Yeah, and if you saw, we were real late getting a returner back there because we just still thought they were going to go for it or fake the punt.
And he didn't want to use a timeout because if he uses a timeout, he can get his quarterback back in the game, good to go. Okay.
Correct. So that was big. I think all coaches, hindsight, you always look back and go, even me with ours, like, man, had I done this or that, like maybe we're not in a 3-point game at the end. Maybe we're in a 14-point game. But, probably right decision where they were at on the field. And our defense was playing pretty good. And we kind of had a different plan there in the second half that we were getting to him and pressuring him a little bit more. So I'm glad they punted.
I know but this is also the point where as soon as they do that to you, you have a long drive, and then you're in a 2-score lead, and you managed it throughout, and there wasn't just a whole lot of time left.
I was going to say, were you going to say like it was easy from then on out because it
No,
wasn't? But
not at all.
No, but that was the key. Like getting the 2-score lead just changed how the game was played the rest of the way.
Yeah, when you're playing from ahead versus behind, and that clock is starting to. Because you start talking about analytics, people start, okay, we're only going to get the ball 1 or 2 times. It's just that changes everything, how you coach, the plays you're calling, everything.
Yep.
So let's take a look, Colton, with these clips. I think the first one, this is a Darius Butler, I think.
Yeah, and I think the big key here for me is like as you watch our team, the progression of our team, our secondary was challenged early. There's no doubt in the year, and wasn't great at all times, but they've really settled in, and I really think starting the Paladuro week really progressed, and our secondary is starting to play really good football. And so I just want to point out Darius. To me, Darius is playing really good. He's matched up on some really good receivers. They had caught one on him in the end zone on the other side earlier that he had great coverage, and really looking at the film, he might have even knocked it loose, but just great coverage. So Darius is right here one-on-one. There's no help. We've got our other safety down here in the box. You can go ahead and play it, Colton. And so does a good job here, what we call in phase. He's in phase with that receiver, so he's right in a perfect position to go look for the ball. He looks for the ball, almost picks it off. Receiver kind of turns into defensive player there, and I think rips it out. Man, that's just putting him on an island like that, and for him to make that play, really big play, and I think gives everybody confidence. And the other part you can see is we don't hit the quarterback here. We don't get a sack. He doesn't have to scramble, but if you go all the way back to the top, but we are pressuring him more than we were in the second half, and there's a free runner here. I'm not sure who that is. There's Papa getting a hand up. We made him a little bit more uncomfortable in the second half. That gave us a chance. Got the stop that we needed, and so I thought our defensive staff did a really good job of some subtle adjustments that we used in the second half. But great play by Darius there. Darius will make another appearance here in a second.
Okay, inside leverage. Yeah. Now let's go to this is a punt.
So this is pretty soon after. These plays, a lot of these plays are kind of sequenced pretty soon after. So, one with our special teams, everybody that was around saw the Wiley game that our kickoff unit wasn't very good against Wiley, and our punt unit wasn't really good. We had a big fake punt against Wiley, but we didn't block great, and so thought both these units were really a positive for our team this week. So punt unit 1, the blocking up front was really good. Guys that have been on this done a good job. Case Romero, Broderick Everett, Kai Israel's on the right side, Corbin Gooderslaw. So just did a good job blocking, but you can go ahead and run it, Colton. And so nothing crazy here, get a punt. But we always tell guys you get rewarded for playing hard. And here's Darius again, mentioning him. But he's the first one down there. He was getting jammed at the line. He's the first one down there. They bobble it, and you can go back just a little bit, maybe run it full speed, Colton. But I think an underrated football IQ move is Darius sees that, and instead of fighting with the guy for the ball, he just tackles the guy. And so he just tackles him, and now the rest of our guys, Kobe Jimenez is right there too. And we've talked about Kobe a lot, playing safety for us, but also just such a big contributor on special teams. Gets on the ball. Again, we're up by 3 at this point. Giving them the ball back, it looks a little dicey, and our guys making a hustle play and just a smart play by Darius too.
And every possession in this game, as we know, would matter big time.
Yep.
So you kind of extend your possession or kind of steal one right there.
Yep.
Okay, now this is
this is the next play right after this. So it's been a grind. We kind of had a drive, and we weren't running the ball really well, and so we got what we call big, and we've got an extra O lineman in the game plus 2 tight ends. A lot we call it 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight end, and you might go to the tight view on this one, Colton, and what a lot of people don't. There's one receiver. They're going to cover the one receiver. They're going to have 10 in the box, and so you can run it, and it's just us playing physical football. And I think eventually, you can see guys on the ground, and Shemaine's able to walk in. When you've got that many guys in the box and the running back doesn't get touched, that's pretty good up front by all these
one-on-one
guys.
matchups.
And you can see Wyatt Shafe pulling. Great down blocks. Wyatt Shafe pulling. Travis Esparza getting him some, finishing a block. And that's good football. And early in the game, we weren't having that much success, but I think you just eventually wear them down, and that's our brand of football right there.
And that's what wins this time of year.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff.
Okay, yeah, and is this the kickoff?
Yeah, so this is it is.
Okay.
So very sequenced here. This one, I'm going to talk trash on my dad a little bit. There was a little arguing on this, but I also thought it was a good time for us to talk about the rules because our fans were pretty upset after this. But the referees got this absolutely correct. And so I was just going to talk about it. Something we teach our return guys from day one of kick return. We talk about it and hope that they know it. But number one, what a great kick by Michael Rodriguez that goes right. We'd been kicking some short stuff. But we decided to go deep. It goes right over their head, and then it just sticks. So they have to try to get on it. They touch it in the field of play. Kids trying to pick it up, and it goes into the end zone. The rule on this is that is okay. He just has to down it. So if that ball flies into the end zone without anybody touching it, they don't have to down it. It's a touchback. If it touches a return guy and goes into the end zone, they just have to get on it. It would be live. If we recovered it, it's a touchdown. He did. So by rule, and then to make matters worse, they spotted at the 21st like it was a punt. Then they move it up to the 25. So everybody's a little worked up. But the referees absolutely got the call right. But
was somebody in the booth suggesting this should have been a safety or a touchdown?
My father was.
Was he?
And Tommy Wood was correct.
Okay.
They were kind of talking about it. But our kickoff team, just like I said earlier, wasn't good against Wiley. Had 2 kick return touchdowns.
But here you've swarmed it.
We've swarmed it, and the first kickoff of the game, we down them inside the 5-yard line. Like this unit was so much better, and you can see again here. Like everybody thinks it's done, but there's Blake Moore we've called his name, and Brandon Leal. These guys are just sprinting their tails down the field.
Yeah.
So there you go. The more you know. Good job, Tommy.
And anytime we can, potentially get Chuck Darden on the straight and narrow, we're here to do that. I mean, that's what we're here to do, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's right.
Sure.
That's right. I'm just saying. Okay, so 45-42, you advance. You would get to. We kind of talked about this last week. You would get to come home well into Friday morning, but you got the Friday to kind of recover and rest up, and then you got to sit back and go, okay, Prosper Walnut Grove and Arlington Seguin going to play, because I think this was also the same exact game last year, was it not?
It was.
Yes. And you get the winner, and it turns out it's Walnut Grove for the second year in a row. I don't know if you're rooting for somebody, or you're like, I don't know how you are watching this.
Yeah, it's kind of tough when you watch it in that setting, because you don't care. I mean, you're just glad to be playing and whoever it is, but you're kind of looking at it like, what's a better matchup for us? Where do we, But yeah, you're not really rooting for anybody. It's hard to scout though, because you're kind of scouting both teams. You don't want to get ahead of yourself and scout one team more than the other, and then you've wasted your time. But so I think our coaching staff really just watched it and just kind of watched the players and kind of watched what they did. But Walnut, it was a good game. It was a 7-point game with about 4.5 minutes to go, and then Walnut Grove kind of ran the clock out and scored with 6 seconds left, I think, to make it a 14-point game. But it was Seguin's good. They had 4 losses, but they were all against good teams, and they were close games. So that was a good. We had a really good by-district game. That one was too.
And yeah, so Walnut Grove, they're 11-0, 8-0 in the district. I think they scored like 52 points a game. It's the same group again you saw last year. You both play Lovejoy, because they're you mentioned, we've talked about this before, they're in the District of Doom. Well, that's what Lovejoy is also in that district, so that was it. So you both have played Lovejoy this year, and I guess technically you did last year too, but does that help you in any way, or that's just
I think it's kind of like we talked. I think we talked about this last week, that you're able to at least evaluate personnel. Like you're able
size
to see, size, speed, and physicality. Kind of knowing some of those Lovejoy kids and how physical they were, and that helps you. But you just never know. I mean, and who knows? I mean, what walks out there each game? But I don't think we're the team that played against Abilene Cooper. I don't. I think if you go watch that film and say, "Oh, we're gonna smoke them because of that game," every game's just different, and teams are allowed to grow a little bit. I think our team is a perfect example of that. So, you can read too much into scores. I don't think the scores necessarily matter, but we are able to evaluate kind of personnel more than anything. But that was a good game. Walnut Grove blocks a field goal at the buzzer. I don't know if they had an injury, Lovejoy, but there was they only had 10 guys on their field goal team, and so their left side was short-sided, and they block it off that left side at the buzzer to win by 3. So it was a really good game, and but that's what Walnut Grove has done. They found ways to win. They've won some close ones. Anna had I think a 3-score lead on them in the second half, and just battled their way back, found a way to win a close one. And 2 years in a row, that District of Doom, I don't think anybody really anticipated them winning it either year. And they've just done it. And Coach Allison, I've got a ton of respect for him, because he runs a program the right way.
Yeah, and District of Doom just means that this is like, this is the toughest district in the state, or one of them. That's kind of where that term comes from. How do you end up at 3 o'clock at Abilene Christian? Take us through all the possibilities and dynamics, because I've had multiple people go like, what are they doing playing in the afternoon for? I mean,
just this time of year when there's still a lot of games, and there's a lot of West Texas versus DFW. Abilene's just getting used a bunch, and no offense to Coach Gar and my guys at Abilene ISD, but Shotwell Stadium's not high on my list to go play in the near future. So we kind of looking at different venues, and ACU could host us, but they had a night game. So Odessa Permian and a Mansfield team play after us. So they just had the 3 o'clock, which we don't mind it. I think that'd be different if it's 95 degrees outside, but since it's not going to be hot, it's going to be good. And I kind of like not having so much downtime throughout the day, especially with us not being in school, which is a different dynamic. But we're not going to have a whole lot of downtime. It's get up, let's do our walkthrough, and let's roll.
Okay, so to refresh everybody's memory, this Walnut Grove team, that they're really good offense and all that, but this is large in part. This is a younger school.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't been around for.
Second year of varsity football. I think it's their third year overall.
Okay, I was going to say 2 or 3
third
years.
Or fourth, maybe.
That would have been right. So 2 or 3 or 3 or 4. But this is large in part the same crew that you saw last year at a lot of the spots. The running back is one of the best running backs in the Metroplex. Not the biggest kid, but he just produces. We've got a tall receiver and a quarterback that was a freshman last year, and I had forgotten that. And he's obviously a sophomore this year. But this is a tempo outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Like this
Big
is a
time.
fast-paced basketball on grass or turf in this case.
Yeah, and they just challenge you. They challenge your defense so much because they like to run the ball. Like they're probably a little higher percentage of run than pass, but
it's like a spread run.
It's spread run. Yeah. It's using tempo. It's RPO. It's fast screens. They killed us on the fast screens last year. They're just good at all of that, and got a quarterback, like you said, he's a sophomore, but shoot, he started 13 games last year as a freshman. I mean, he's not the moment's not big for him.
25 games under his belt.
Yeah, he is not a normal sophomore, but he just does it all well. He can run, so they're a challenge defensively. Same way, they got a lot of kids back. They got a sophomore nose guard that played 13 games last year as a freshman, and last year we had to have a plan for him. He was that good, but. You look at a team and you get to every game. When we've said this before, players over plays, and that's true. So sometimes what you're looking at is where can you attack them? All right, they're weak here. How do we manufacture and do what we do to attack this? There's just not many weaknesses in them, and we hope we're the same. That's how we try to be designed. Where if you try to attack us there, great, but. That's just what they are, and really talented, really well coached, and they had a good scheme for us special teams wise last year too. So they're well rounded, but we're not to beat a dead horse, but we're worried about us, and we think when we play at a high level and kind of some of the things that we've done the last 3 weeks that we're a tough matchup too, and that's what we hope.
Do you because it gets to the playoffs and you start, do you try to take more risks, not take as many risks? Take me through that mindset of, because it's like, hey man, we're on, this is house money here. Like let's be aggressive, or is it like, I don't know. I don't want you to give away too much.
No, I think scenarios. I think that changes throughout a game. Okay. Honestly, like. Okay. And honestly, this is going to sound funny. We want to score whenever we can, and this is not arrogant. Like, we could run this play. But there were a few times against Del Valle that we thought we had what we call them pops sometimes, where it's something that's designed just for their defense, and maybe it's set up throughout a game, and you hit them with some sort of big play. Pops aren't like necessarily trick plays, but just you can hit them with a big play. We thought we had a couple pops against Del Valle, but 2 or 3 times that we felt good about it, they had gone on a long drive. And so that changed our mindset a little bit of like, man, let's let our defense breathe just a little bit. And that's where you trust an offense so much to be able to sustain a drive.
You don't have to take that shot.
You don't have to. And so I just think the game dictates that a little bit. I mean, we always have that. We always have, in kind of the way we build 2-point conversion plays, trick plays, a lot of the specials – is we have 1 or 2 week 1 against Lovejoy. Well, we don't use them. We kind of add, or if we use one, we take that off and bump another. And then you get to this point of the year, and you've got a pretty good menu that you've been repping all year of these special. You call them specials, but just little things that aren't that you're not running 10 times a game. You might run them once. So, I think the game just dictates that on whether we're calling those or needing those.
Well, and again, I tell you what, one pop was that 26-yard field goal.
That was big. That was
Very
big.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, man. Well, good luck.
Appreciate it. It'd be fun.
It'd be fun, and go see what happens.
We've had a goal. Sorry,
Practice
I
on
know.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I know you're
Practice on
trying
Thanksgiving.
to do this, but we had 3 team goals this year. Beat Friendship, and that was the first time since I've been here that was an actual team goal.
Okay.
Win district, we didn't get that one done. That's part of to me growing. Like you got to set goals, and if you don't reach them, you reset and you do. You make sure your goals are good. But then third one is to play on Thanksgiving. So we got a goal to reach. So
Almost there.
We're going to try to do it.
Yeah, almost there. And I will tell everybody that this will be streamed on an NFHS broadcast. Okay, this is no affiliation to Lubbock Cooper or Lubbock Cooper Independent School District. This is a separate deal. They have a contract with the UIL. It will be broadcast on there, or streamed on there, I should say. So any issues with that, with the sound or the video or the whatever, that is
C level at LCISD.
Yeah, exactly. It will also be on 100.7 The Score radio wise. There's an app that you can get for that radio app that you can listen to it on your phone or whatever, or just traditional radio and in the car and all that stuff. And that airtime would be 2:30. So just want to make sure that we get all that out there. But Chip and his guys they'll play and coach hard, and it should be a lot of fun. And it's playoff time, man. You never know.
The matinee.
You never know what goes on this time of year, so it makes it fun. So, and I just will say this too. I just don't like the color purple down there, and the folks at ACU, they can't help that, but it's just a personal preference of mine. I know you're a big fan. But all right, man. Hey, seriously, appreciate it, Colton. Thank you for taking care of us, and the clips and all that. Chip has been money all season long. We'll keep this thing going. That's been another edition of Pirate Talk. Again, for Chris Lovell, for Chip Darden, and for Colton Coons. We'll talk to you next time.